So for 45, you gotta find negative b over 2a. There is no b, there's no x, so it's 0. Doesn't matter what the bottom's gonna be, 0 divided by anything is 0. So that tells me the vertex is 0, 0. So on your graph, you put a point at 0, 0. This is gonna open down. You may want to find some points before you make your graph so you can see how big to make it. So since the 0 is the axis of symmetry, 1 is really easy to put in. Negative 2 times 1 squared is negative 2. So at 1 over 2 down is a point. And remember, you can just reflect it. So just put another point the same distance on the other side. And the next point's going to get real big. Not real big, but bigger than what we need. So you don't even need to put it. I'll just show you. If you put in 2, 2 squared is 4, times negative 2 is negative 8. You don't need to make your graph down 8.
Can't we just go by 2 then?
Well, you could if you wanted to. So since it drops down, like I said, this is enough for you to see what the sketch is going to look like. So you can just draw it like that. Try and draw it rounded. I know it's not real easy, but don't draw it. Some people just go like that.
Like what?
Some people just go up and then down. It is a little rounded. I know what you're talking about there, but try and draw it a little rounded if you can.
Like an arch?
Yeah. And then make sure you label the vertex 0, 0. So for 48, negative b over 2a, b is a 6, so it'd be negative 6. A is a negative 3, 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, so it's 1. So then to figure out the y, we got to plug 1 in there. So that would be negative 3 plus 6 minus 9 is negative 6. Well, this one's going to open down too. So this one, we only need to find really one more point. At 1 over 6 down, right there, that's the axis of symmetry. So if you put a dotted line, you can use that to flip planes over. Then what's a real easy one to plug in?
2.
0.
0. Remember, you can go either side of the dotted line. 0 is always easy because this would be 0, that would be 0, that would be negative 9. So I'd have to go down 3 more, flip it over, and then that's all we need. Because it drops down quicker then. One negative 6, yep. So for 51, b is a negative 4. So negative 4 is 4. 2 times a is 12. So that's 1/3. They like to throw thirds in there a lot. So when you plug 1/3 in this, when you do it on your calculator, you got to go 1 divided by 3. So when it's squared, you got to keep it in parentheses. So it'd be 6 times parenthesis 1 divided by 3 parentheses squared minus 4 times 1 divided by 3. You get negative 0.6 repeating, which is negative 2/3, yep. This one is gonna open up because it's positive. So since it's thirds, to make it easier, well, it's just a sketch of a graph, so it doesn't matter. 1/3 over, you just estimate. 2/3 down, the estimate would be right about there. What you could do on your graph is make each mark count as a third. That way 1/3 over would be right there, and 2/3 down would be right there. But then you're gonna have pretty big numbers for the next one, so. Since it's just a sketch, it's not accurate, it's just a sketch, so you can just estimate. So again, 0 would work to put it in. 0 times, or in a 0 would be 0. So that's 1/3 of the way away from our dotted line, so 1/3 over here, you just flip it over that dotted line, would be at 2/3. So then another number to put in, I would just skip, instead of putting 1 in, it's so close to what we just put in, put 2 in. So 6 times 2 squared is 24, minus 4 times 2 is 8. So what happens to that? 16, which just tells us it goes up real fast. So you don't need to plot these big numbers. So all you gotta do is just go up real quick like that and like that. And then remember to label 1/3, negative 2/3 for the vertex. So for 54, negative b over 2a, b is a 1, so it's negative 1. A is a 1, so 2 times 1 is 2. So that means that negative 1/2, fraction again. So then to figure out the y, you got to plug this in for the x's. And again, when it's a negative, you put in there. On the squared part, just don't even put the negative on there. And 1/2, you could just use 0.5. You can get it? 0. So at negative 1/2 over 0 up is your vertex. And it is going to open up because it's positive. So again, close to this dotted line on the x-axis is 0, so put 0 in. 0 squared plus 0 plus 1/4 is 1/4. So at 0 over 1/4 up, you just estimate. Flip it over that dotted line, put 1 over there. So we should do one more. 1. We put 0 in, so then put 1. So that'd be 1 plus 1 plus 1/4, 2 1/4, yeah. So 1 over, 2 1/4 up, flip it over, and then sketch it in.